Welcome inside the RX Muscle Studios in New York for another episode of Ask Dave, better known as hashtag Ask Dave, on this Thursday, March 31st in the year 2016. Glad you can join us. 30-minute question and answer show with Dave Palumbo. All your questions on diet, training, supplementation, Ifbb, pros, competitions, anything and everything is on the table. I'm your host, Sadiq Faruqi. Glad you can join us on Ask Dave, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. As we bring in Dave Palumbo. Dave, you are now, 1.5 weeks post-op? How's the leg coming along?
Last week was like a tune-up week for all of us here. Sid got married, so I want to say congratulations, Sid,
Thank you very much.
on the wedding. It was a beautiful wedding. I got to attend in my, what was the name of that outfit I was wearing, the Pakistani outfit?
So what you were wearing is technically called a kurta shalwar. Now, just to give the viewers an explanation as far as why Dave found it imperative to wear that. Johnny, if you could pull up a picture.
I should have given him the picture.
Yeah, that will be clutch. So
it's on my Instagram.
Johnny's going to pull up the picture, and now granted, it's traditional Pakistani wear, and Dave, had the itch to wear one anyway, but with his leg in a cast, ordinary pants would just not do. But with the extra room, length, width of what's called a shalwar, which are the pants in Pakistani traditional dresses, most South Asian, Middle Eastern traditional dress, that allowed for that extra room. So Dave, you said it fit you like a glove, right?
It was good. It was very comfortable. I have to be honest. And you know what? In the pictures, you guys had a beautiful little setup where he was taking pictures with the bride and people were coming up. And as you can see, I look like I'm right off the airplane from Pakistan there. As a matter of fact, people thought that I got married to your wife, that you were with Amanda, because you guys had the traditional United States outfits on, and I was a traditional Pakistani. So I felt like I blended in for once. Except none of the men were wearing the traditional outfits. All the women were in the traditional outfits. What's that about, Sid?
Well, Sunday night, it was called the Walima, which is sort of the post-wedding reception event. And that's more of a cultural event. And especially here in the United States, it's going to be more of a black tie kind of affair. So some decided to wear suits, tuxedos, so on and so forth. Some women, decided, all right, they're still going to, maintain the cultural garb. But that's why you had that mix. But it is funny, in your caption, you said, I look like the mayor of Pakistan in that picture. But it's funny because a lot of the guests who were there know about you. Uh-huh. And I don't know how many actually came up and spoke to you, but a lot of them came up to me afterwards, like, I saw that guy, Dave Palumbo. I saw Dave Palumbo.
Not to mention that I was wearing that outfit. I was the only one, so I'm sure I stuck out too.
But
it was fun.
Yeah. So, thank you very much to Dave. Thank you for all. I got all the messages from the RX Muscle community. Very, very humbled, very touched by all your well wishes. Thank you so much. But now it is back to work. We're gonna start on the Muscle Central forum on rxmuscle.com. If you want to join us live on our YouTube channel, you can comment or ask questions on the chat box on the right-hand side, on our Instagram @official_RxMuscle, or tweet your questions using hashtag AskDave. We go to the RX Muscle Central Forum and start with our good friend BB50+. Dave, don't know why I'm even bothering with the question on this miserable Q&A show, but are there any supplements, is there any supplement, parentheses S, you don't have in your Species line of products, but if you had to do it all over again, you would? And then also, which one would you take out?
I'm pretty happy with the array of products that we have right now. I'm not really missing much of anything. I pretty much made everything that I thought was imperative. I could do some single ingredient like stuff, like a vitamin D supplement, or maybe even combined vitamin D. I have vitamin D and V mineralized, but it's only 2,000 units, which is a lot. Most multivitamins don't have that much, but I like to recommend 7,000 units a day, so I wouldn't mind doing a little bit more of that. CoQ10 is another one. Not an essential thing, but a lot of things. It's a good cardioprotective supplement that people over the age of 35, over the age of 40 probably should take. But these are like skeptical. I also have another product that I might come out with. It's another type of joint protective type of product. It's an anti-inflammatory product. It uses boswellia and turmeric, but the extract versions of them that would really greatly reduce inflammation in the body, probably help the joints, help any inflammatory bowel disease. But these are things that are not, like I said, essentially required. To me, the top three, multivitamin, multimineral, essential fatty acid, demineralized, omega-lyzed, and then fiber product, fiberlyzed, dual fiber product. Those are the most essential. Everything else on that top of that is gravy on the cake. The Arthrolyze, I've just upgraded probably over the last year. I mean, that's probably the best joint product on the market. So there's really no regrets and nothing that I don't want. I'm coming out with I think we're going to call it Amino Evolved. It'll be our amino acid product. Once again, a great product, all fermented amino acids, but not essential to the body. This is an add-on type of thing. Whey isolate, our Isolyze is a tremendous product. It's our best-selling product. It's not an essential product, but it's our best-selling product because people find it's easier to drink shakes, during the day than eat all food meals. So I'm very happy with where the product line is. The problem is that the public likes to be constantly refreshed with new stuff. The problem is that the essentials that your body requires don't change. And whether I dress them up with a different label or try to make them seem better than they are, the fact remains that the core three supplements, the V-Mineralized, Omega-Lyzed, and Fiberlyzed, never are going to change. Now, Fiberlyzed wheat, we're coming out with a new version that's wheat-free. I was using wheat bran as my insoluble source of fiber. We're changing to corn bran because a lot of people complain because they're gluten intolerant. So that is one change that we are making. So, once again, we have some other interesting stuff coming out in the future, but the bottom line is that people don't know what to spend their money on, and they spend it usually in the wrong direction. Get those core three supplements.
Let's go to JP82088. Hey, Dave, for your clients that have bad acne issues, would you recommend a 5-AR inhibitor? I read dutasteride is most effective. Also, would this medication work if you're taking compounds that are DHT derivatives, such as masteron or primobolan? Thank you in advance.
A lot of acne is caused by high dihydrotestosterone levels, or DHT levels in the body. And that's because the body converts testosterone into DHT, especially if you're taking testosterone. Now, you can block DHT production in a number of ways. I don't necessarily know if you have to go to dutasteride or finasteride to block DHT to cure acne. I could see if you have a hair loss problem and you want to take something potent, a potent DHT blocker, or if you're taking, or if you have a prostate enlargement problem, you might want to take something that inhibits DHT severely. But for hair loss, for acne, I might just want to blunt it a little. And a product like my Testosterolize product is probably the way to go, because Testosterolize blunts DHT production, but it doesn't eliminate it. Okay, and there's a good distinction there, because some DHT is necessary. We don't want to completely eliminate it. Having said that, a lot of people ask me if products that are derived from DHT, that means that you take the DHT parent compound and then you turn it around chemically and you change it into other things like masteron and winstrol. Are those compounds going to cause hair loss? And the answer is no, because they're not DHT anymore. Just because they used that in other words, they use sarsaparilla root to make testosterone. If you take sarsaparilla root, you're not going to grow muscle like you would from the testosterone. It doesn't have the same properties. So the properties change when they alter it. So I know people will tell me, well, but I lost hair from taking winstrol. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It was probably the testosterone you were combining it with, okay? Also, women will complain, well, winstrol made me lose hair. Well, because androgens make you lose hair. And if you're a woman, you shouldn't be taking anything androgenic, okay? By and far, the only thing that will not cause any hair loss definitively in women is Anavar. And even Anavar in some women reacts weird. And who knows, a lot of people are taking fake stuff. So it goes back to, is your stuff real? If it is real, DHT-derived compounds like masteron and winstrol should not cause hair loss, whereas compounds that convert to DHT, dianabol, anadrol, testosterone, those can cause hair loss.
Let's go to Big Mike Cox. Again, we're on the Muscle Central Forum on rxmuscle.com. If you're not already registered, it is free to register. If you're watching us on YouTube, we give priority to the Muscle Central Forum members. That's where we go first on this show. Again, that is where we have all of our analysis, all of our banter for all the big shows. That's where we have our live play-by-play. And of course, if you want access to our contest galleries, you have to be a member. It is free to register. Go now to rxmuscle.com. As we go to Big Mike Cox. Dave, do you think the Arnold Classic Brazil is a failure since they only have 5 bodybuilders competing? I'm looking at the list, and unless somebody dropped out, I see 6. But to his point,
I think Leonardowitz dropped out.
Okay, so 5 competing at the Arnold Brazil.
The Arnold Classic Brazil is not just the pro show. It's the whole expo and experience. And I've been there many times, and it's an amazing experience. The Brazilian people love bodybuilding, and they love working out. And if you want to go to a show and see a lot of women walking around with big booties and big legs, and Johnny knows what I'm talking about, you go to Brazil, okay? Because I have never seen more women with huge, well-shaped legs and butts. The expo alone is worth going for. There's a million booths, there's exciting games and stuff going on, and all kinds of contests and competitions, and they give away free stuff. It's very fun. The amateur show is enormous. For some reason, well, I kind of know the reason. The reason why the pro show only has 5 people is because it was silly to move the time. It used to be in April, okay, later in April. Almost towards May, and they moved it so they could put the Arnold USA, the Arnold Australia, and the Arnold Brazil 2 weeks apart. The problem is the bodybuilders can't diet for 6 weeks like that. They can't hold their peak. So most of the guys did the first 2 shows, and they're not going to do Brazil. And that's just the way it is. And a lot of the guys that are getting ready for the New York Pro and the shows that are in May, okay, don't want to do a show now because they want to peak then. So they should have moved the Arnold Brazil right next to like it was last year, the New York Pro. So guys could have done Arnold Brazil, then New York Pro, okay, because there's really no other pro shows around there, and that would have been perfect. I don't know why they didn't leave it there. Obviously, they made a mistake, and I think probably next year they'll probably fix it, or maybe they won't. But I think that's the reason why the pro show doesn't have a lot of guys in it, which is a great opportunity for the guys that are in it.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com. 30-minute question and answer with Dave Palumbo, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. Let's go to GCT 20,000. Hey Dave, hate this show. What's your take on supplements for better cognitive function?
There are some what we call nootropics, or drugs that make you have better mental focus. The simple amino acid tyrosine is a great precursor, okay, to help focus in the brain. And tyrosine has been used for 30 years. They used to give it to in World War II to the guys in the trenches, who had battle fatigue, to combat that. And I remember reading that article in Muscle Fitness years ago. But, there's a lot of different ones out there that help. Most people who take a cognitive formula that's supposed to help you mental focus, it's just merely a lot of stimulants that get you euphoric. To me, that's not mental focus. Mental focus is when you can increase the neurostimulatory neurotransmitters in the brain to help the brain react faster. The raw cacao bars that I sell, okay, contain theobromine. Theobromine dilates the vessels in the brain and allows more blood flow there, giving you more mental focus. That's a great supplement. That's something that you could put into your regimen, and it has no calories. Another great supplement, like I said, tyrosine, the amino acid, put that in there. Those stimulate the brain. Other neurotransmitters like GABA, or GABA-derived supplements that bind to the GABA receptor in the brain, relax the brain. So they work on this opposite type of thing. That's why at night I tell people to take Somalize, which contains GABA and melatonin, decreases mental activity. During the day, you want to increase mental activity. That's why if Sid, you and Johnny probably see me running around here eating raw cacao bars all day to keep myself awake, because I don't drink caffeine.
Right. So
give it a shot.
This is the only office in America which has about 80% caffeine-free K-cups in our drawer, by the way. Let's go to Danny Almeida. When blending vegetables with protein powders, fruits, seeds, oils, etc., what are the nutrients from the vegetables still active after you have blended all the ingredients? For example, if I were to mix my daily smoothie with spinach, add a bit of banana for flavoring and some oatmeal, are the nutritious contents from the spinach still there, or does it become neutralized because you added fruit? I've read and heard differently, but if you can please share your thoughts.
Now, when you blend any kind of fruit or juice vegetables, they don't go bad. I mean, the only way they would go bad is if you left them out, for 18 hours or something like that, because the longer they're exposed to air, oxygen, they get oxidized, and they start losing their potency. But if you just blend it up and mix everything together and gulp it down, you're fine. You're fine, no problem.
Let's go to our YouTube questions. Again, if you're watching us for the first time ever on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe below. That way you're not going to miss any of our shows, segments, updates. This is our weekly 30-minute question and answer show. We have Muscle in the Morning, which is every day, 5-minute news segment covering everything going on in the bodybuilding world. That is every morning. We have a one-on-one interview format show called Live With, which has an entire library of Live With interviews on our YouTube channel. Iron Debate, where we debate the newest and freshest topics in the bodybuilding world. So a lot going on rxmuscle.com. Hit subscribe. You're not going to miss any of our upcoming shows. We start with Pontus Kirstis. Even though I hate this freaking show, I created a fake account to ask. I'm 2.5 weeks out, respect by the way. I'm 2.5 weeks out from competition and wonder how close to the show I can get a deep tissue massage.
I always say 1 week out, no more massage. You know, I'm going to tell you how crazy paranoid I was. I read an article about how deep tissue or massage can bring smoothness or can bring fluid to the surface of the body and can smooth out your muscles. My ex-girlfriend, who at the time in the 90s I was dating, she, you know, sometimes when I was getting ready for a show, especially, you know, at the show, I'd be all tense and nervous and aggravated, and she'd try to come behind me and like rub my neck. I'd be like, "Get your hands off me! You're gonna smooth me out!" Like that. That's how insane I was. So you definitely don't want to get massaged. Now I know guys stupidly have gotten massaged like 2 days before the Olympia. You know, they got Jimmy Bluff in Las Vegas giving them massages, and I'm like, you guys are nuts. You do not want to get massaged. Okay, why don't you think you don't train your legs a whole week before the show? You want them to heal up. You don't want to break them down doing massage. Okay, the key is when you get to that show, heal, let the muscles harden up so they're going to show the most amount of detail. So 1 week out, no more massage.
Let's go to this. I'm trying to find the safe for workers. All right, here we go. Canto Fitness. I'll read his. I hate this show, and I'd rather hire George Farah to tell me day in, day out that having carbs with fats is like having a donut. My question is, do you agree with George Farah on the post-workout HGH spike, and we should avoid every sort of sugar to keep that HGH high?
I don't agree with him. No. I'll tell you why. Growth hormone is not like one of these things like when you finish the workout, you push a button, boop, and then all of a sudden the growth hormone gets released. Okay, the act of training, the act of squatting and deadlifting and overstimulating the body is causing the body while you're training to pulse GH out. So by the time you get to the post-workout shake, the growth hormone's been released already. So post-workout, granted, protein is what will make the body regenerate itself and rebuild itself. The carbs reglycogenate or put the glucose back into the muscles. None of what you're going to consume post-workout is going to affect whatsoever your growth hormone release.
Lennyism wants to know, Dave, are those stem cells working? And if you could maybe give some background, maybe people wondering what's with the question.
Well, about 3 weeks ago, I got stem cell injections into my shoulders, which are undifferentiated cells that can convert into whatever tissue they're put next to. So ostensibly, they were shot into my shoulders where the cartilage is defective. He put them right where the defect is. The stem cells attach to the defect and start to regenerate and turn into cartilage cells, believe it or not. And then 2 weeks after the stem cell injections, you get what's called PRP, or platelet-rich plasma injections. They take your blood out, they spin it down in a centrifuge, they take the plasma portion, the liquid yellow portion, they call liquid gold, and then they inject that. Now, there's 2 videos up on our YouTube channel that you can check out, one showing the stem cell injections, one showing the process of the PRP injections, which we just put up the other day. And the PRP is meant to nourish the stem cells, and because they contain a lot of platelets, help the stem cells adhere to the tissue underneath. And so I have to go for one more set of these PRP in 2 weeks. So it's stem cells, 2 weeks, PRP, 2 weeks, another PRP, and then I'm done. I will tell you this. While I'm not completely pain-free right now, I feel like my shoulders are moving better. I don't know what that means. Now, you got to remember, I have a lot of damage in my shoulders, so the cartilage tissue is going to take a while to grow. They say up to 6 months it can be growing for. So, I'm getting the fact that I'm getting some relief means that something's going on there. And the last time we went and he put the ultrasound on my shoulder, he showed me portions of where new cartilage was growing. So I'd have to say, as of now, it is a success. Now, also granted, because my knee surgery, I'm on crutches all day long, which is probably not really helping my shoulders. I haven't gone to the gym at all. He told me to take 6 weeks off from the gym, which is tough for me because I don't usually do that. But I am getting a little bit of a workout, I guess, from the crutches. So far, so good. I'll keep you guys updated, I promise.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Again, if you're watching us live on YouTube, hit the subscribe button below. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Instagram at official_RxMuscle. Let's go to Axel Zemo. Dave, what form of periodization do you like for building muscle?
When you say periodization, I guess you mean how often do you train, that kind of thing. I like one body part per day, and I like it once per week. That seems to work well. I've talked about this before. Even back in my heyday, I sometimes trained each body part once every 8 days, because what I would do is I would give bicep its own day, and I would give triceps their own day. But for most people, 5 days a week of weight training, 2 days a week off, one body part per week, so you're not double training a body part every week, I think is ideal. That's just me.
Let's go to, I believe it's David Gouveia. Dave, do you have any recommendations on how to get rid of acne scars?
Probably the simplest thing to try is a chemical peel. You can go to your dermatologist or your plastic surgeon, and they could do a pretty serious chemical peel. The problem is you can't go in the sun for several weeks after that. So do it like when you have some downtime. They could do a chemical peel, and it takes off massive amounts of layers of skin. And a lot of times that will solve the problem. If not, you can try what's called dermabrasion, where they actually sand the levels of the skin down. Or you can do a combination of both, just not at the same time. Try the chemical peel first. I think you'll be very happy with that.
Lee Sean Sullivan, I read that L-glutamine, someone said 5G before and after a workout, but I know nothing. I brought it for gut health. What say you?
For gut health, glutamine works very well because the gut cells really steal most of the glutamine that you ingest orally anyway. So if you're looking to help the lining of your small intestine or colon, glutamine is a good supplement. If you're looking to increase muscle regeneration or size, glutamine is not going to do very much of anything, to be honest with you, because most of the glutamine never makes it to the muscles as glutamine. Now, having said that, if you take a good whey protein isolate, okay, that has a very large array of amino acids in it, when that gets into the muscle cells can turn those amino acids into glutamine. So the body makes its own glutamine very efficiently. It's not an essential amino acid. So you don't have to take in glutamine per se. You can take in any kind of protein source, and your body will make as much glutamine as it needs.
Let's go to Farabi_K. My question is, I always have shoulder pain when I train chest. I tried everything, medium grip, wide grip, back arch, back on the bench, delts on the bench. There is no use. Please help.
Look, a lot of us have shoulder pain, and, a lot of times, we're in denial of what's causing the shoulder pain. It could be the fact that, you have some arthritis in there. It could be the fact that you have a small tear in your rotator cuff. And when you get into that benching position, it hurts. Now, what I did during my career was I stopped flat benching at some point, and I did everything inclines, because the incline benching doesn't seem to hurt my shoulders, or didn't seem to hurt my shoulders at least, as much as the other stuff. And what, I told a few other people about that, and they said, that solved my problem. Flat bench pressing is a very biomechanically not good process, okay? It's not efficient. It stresses the wrong muscles. It forces the head of the humerus into an uncomfortable and unnatural position. Try using all incline pressing movements. Keep that chest up. Don't cheat with your shoulders. I bet that'll help.
Let's go to Mr. C. Shadows. This show stinks so much that when people say, ew, what stinks in here, they smell a bad odor and they should say, what, RX Muscles in here? When you prep your athletes that you prep for the whole year, all season, and prep, what's the most amount of weight you think or you say is ideal to gain over potential stage weight? Example, somebody weighs 200 on show day, don't gain more than 30, 40, 50, etc. pounds.
It's a hard mathematical equation to give you. I'll tell you why. Because guys who are in the high 280s, 290s, when they go over 300 pounds, they hold a lot of water. When I was 315, I was very lean, but I was very watery. So when I would go on a diet, I would probably lose 15, 20 pounds the first 2 weeks. Didn't mean I was fat. I was just holding a lot of water. Guys that are 170 pounds that go up to 220, they can get fat. So for me to say don't gain more than 30 pounds to a guy who's 275 is bad advice, because they'll probably shoot up to 300 in 3 weeks of being on an off-season diet. Whereas a guy who's 170, it's going to take him a lot longer to get to 200 than it takes a guy who's going to go from 270 to 300. So my answer always is, let's go by the mirror. As long as I see some abs or I see a decent level of conditioning where you're not completely sloppy with tons of fat hanging off you, keep moving the weight up, keep pushing. If you get sloppy, you cut it back a little bit.
We're taking questions right now from our Instagram page. Again, our Instagram handle at official_RX Muscle. Let's go to Tiki Bar 767676. Guy has a thing for 76. This show is so terrible, I'd rather drink Fiberlize after an all-you-can-eat buffet and try not to crap my pants. Well done, my friend. My question is, I'm looking to drop 20 to 30 pounds. I was thinking of doing HCG diet to help speed up the weight loss and drop some fast weight, then go straight into keto or just start with 6 meals a day approach. What do you think?
Well, first of all, the HCG diet is basically 600 calories per day. So if you're a guy, you're going to lose a ton of muscle on that diet. It only works because you're starving yourself. That's a stupid diet. If you want to go into a ketogenic diet, which is high protein, moderate fat, that's probably a better way to lose maximal weight without sacrificing losing muscle. That's what I would recommend, with a cheat meal once a week, obviously.
Let's go to, and I love this name, Buzz Chillington. I hate this show so much I'd rather have an Anadrol and hot dog eating contest with Jimmy the Bull while he tries to convince me he's straight, even though he hates all the bikini girls on Instagram. He does not like those bikini girls on Instagram. My question is about mercury in tuna. You see a lot of people who say not to eat too much canned tuna because of the high mercury levels. Is eating 2 cans a day any real concern, or are people just being paranoid?
Actually, the canned tuna is safe. It's the big game tuna. It's the big bluefin tuna that you have to watch out, the sushi grade tuna, because those are the huge monster fish that live forever. The longer the fish lives, the more mercury can accumulate in the system. The smaller tunas who don't live that long, and they're not usually that old when they catch them, don't have that much mercury in them. Those are the ones you're getting in the tuna cans. So tuna in a can or a pouch is way safer, mercury-wise, than eating, say, sushi-grade tuna every single day. That you're definitely going to get some high mercury from that, I guarantee it.
Let's go to CPO_Sumed. Hey Dave, it's when to... I'm trying to see how he starts his question. Hey Dave, it's when to HCG on cycle or in PCT during first steroid cycle, i.e. test supinate 300 mg a week for 8 weeks, and will I get or possibility of getting gyno if not using antiestrol like Arimidex on first cycle? Plus, congrats, Deke, for your wedding. Hope you'll build muscle now, and we'll get back to you on that one.
It's funny because the guy uses 4 million abbreviations. Sid has no idea what any of these abbreviations are because he doesn't take steroids, never has. So it's a little more difficult. What he's asking basically is, should I take HCG while I'm on my cycle, or off my cycle, or both? I don't believe that you need to take HCG while you're on a cycle. I think it's kind of like, and I've said this before, it's like throwing sand on the beach. You're not going to notice there's more sand there. You're not going to notice there's more testosterone there. Save the testosterone, the HCG, for post-cycle. When you come off the testosterone, you want to turn your body back on, use the HCG. Now, people could say, well, if you use it the whole cycle, you don't have to turn your body back on. You will. Because once you take away an exogenous source of testosterone, okay, your body's going to still be in shutdown mode. So just stay on the testosterone when you do the testosterone. When you come off the exogenous testosterone, you take the HCG.
Let's go to Art Attack 80. Hey, Dave, I hate this show so much. I would rather share a sweat towel with Richard Simmons while sweating to the oldies than watch. Richard Simmons was a man of mystery over the last week or so. He went missing, and then somebody found him, but then he went missing again. In any case, what is your take on somatropin? Is it worth buying and taking? If so, what is a good protocol to use?
Well, growth hormone is a good compound. It's regenerative. It helps you drop body fat. It will build some muscle. It'll help you with recovery. It's expensive, though, too. Very expensive. Probably, if you're getting good pharmaceutical-grade GH, anywhere from 2 IUs and up is a potent dose. So for regenerative purposes, helping you recover a little bit, I think 2 IUs per day is ideal, to be honest with you. For bodybuilding purposes, I think, guys start creeping up 3, 4, 5 IUs a day. That's about what you need. Are there people out there that are doing 8, 10, 12, 20 IUs a day? Absolutely. Overkill. Overkill, waste of money.
Let's go to Dan Linkton. Hey, Dave, what are your thoughts on DNP affecting the eyes, and how do you recommend an ectomorph getting lean?
Well, first of all, to address the ectomorph, an ectomorph is defined by someone who gets lean very easily and has trouble gaining weight. So, I mean, if you're an ectomorph, make sure you just don't go too low calories. You don't want to burn up muscle, you know. As far as DNP, and I've said this a million times, DNP has no place in anyone's supplement cabinet, so to speak, because it's very dangerous. It has a lethal dose and effective dose that are very similar to each other, very, very close to each other. That's why people tend to get in trouble with the stuff, because they raise the dose to a little too high, and next thing they know, they're cooking their body. So bad idea, very liver toxic, very easy to get in over your head. And once you go over with that stuff, sometimes there's no coming back. If there's no ice bath to jump into, you could burn yourself up and do some serious permanent damage to your body. Once again, not worth it.
Let's go to Jose LOP12. Hey Dave, I've read your PCT protocol. Just wondering, when you recommend starting HCG after a heavy cycle that included long esters such as CYP and DECA, trinacetate, was also part of the cycle, do you start immediately after conclusion of the cycle, or do you suggest waiting a week or two?
I usually tell people wait a week and then start your PCT. Start your HCG for 2 weeks and then do your Clomid for 2 weeks. Granted, some of the esters that you've taken, injected into yourself is still kind of coming out of your body, so to speak, but that's when we want the body to start turning itself back on. We don't want to wait till the body has nothing in it to start turning it back on, because it doesn't happen overnight. So wait a week and then start your PCT.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com, brought to you by Species Nutrition. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. You're not going to miss any of our shows, any of our updates, any of our segments. We provide weeks worth of content throughout the course of the week. I mean, 2 to 3 preview videos. This show, our live with one-on-one interview show. If you check, you could see Dave and Chris Aceto's preview of the 2016 Arnold Brasil. It is live on our YouTube channel and live at rxmuscle.com. If you're not already a member of the Muscle Central Forum, make sure you subscribe. It is free to register, and you can have access to all our content, all our analysis, and of course, the all-important contest galleries. Let's go to Wolf of Essex. Hi, Dave. I hate this show so much, I can't even think of something smart or witty to say. I suffered a minor tear rupture in my left pec about 4 to 5 months ago. I know it was a tear of some sort because it sounded and felt like someone was pulling Velcro in my chest. And after the incident, I had a slight bruising on my bicep. The injury improved from week to week, and it wasn't a tendon tear coming off the bone, so I never went to the doctor and got it checked out. I've gradually gone back to lifting heavier again, but now my left pec pops out a bit more when I flex. What's your experience with muscle tears, and what do you recommend I do, especially to improve the aesthetic balance between my left and right pec? Should I train the right side more to catch up in size? Keep training them both equally? Do you think active release type therapy might break up enough scar tissue and adhesion to even it out, or am I stuck with this?
Yeah, I think that he's pretty much given himself his own answer. You want to start with a little massage, light massage, stretching, get back to training, do unilateral movements where each arm is working independently, dumbbells, hammer strength machines, stuff like that, so you can build each side independently so that the stronger side won't dominate. You want to take, obviously, joint and regenerative supplements, obviously a good multivitamin, multimineral, a good product like Arthrolyze that contains high amounts of glucosamine and MSM, plenty of vitamin C. ART is a terrific therapy in conjunction with massage to make sure that the scar tissue gets moved out of there. Hopefully there's not too much of a deficit in the muscle where you tore it. Hopefully it's a small tear. And you'll come back. The key is to get back the range of motion first, and the weight comes second. Don't try to start banging out huge chest workouts before you break up that scar tissue and let this injury heal properly.
Let's go to Brooks Clark. Do you think the height to weight requirements are spot on for classic physique? If not, what changes would you make?
I think they're good. I think that a lot of guys would like them a little heavier, but then you're getting into bodybuilding already. If you can weigh that much at your height, then go do the open bodybuilding competition. I don't want to see everyone leave bodybuilding and go to classic physique. Classic physique is supposed to be like a men's physique guy, okay, who's hitting poses. So it should be a smaller body weight to keep the aesthetics down. Okay, if they raise the body weight, it's going to change everything. So I do like the weight classes right now.
Let's go to Daniel _ Emil. Dave, could you please give? Oh, that's a good question. Could you please give your personal opinion on the #1 uncrowned Mr. Olympia and a few honorable mentions?
Oh, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Kevin Levrone should have been Mr. Olympia a couple times. Flex Wheeler could have been Mr. Olympia a couple times. Those are probably the top 2 that come to mind. Kai Green has got to be another one. Those are probably your top 3 of all time, I would say, that the guys that just never won the Olympia that probably should. Nasser El Somebody should have won the Olympia in '97. However, I don't think his physique was Mr. Olympia-ish on a regular basis. He just was better than Dorian Yates in '97, and that's happened before. Sean Ray was better than Lee Haney one year, and Lee Labrada came in better. But I think that the top 3 guys would have to be Levrone, Wheeler, and of course Kai Green.
Let's go to Bolo Built. Do you think the IFBB Pro division will ever implement all the NPC weight classes in the bodybuilding class? I want to remain a bodybuilder, but I don't know if I'm willing to do what it takes to get that big at my height. That's why Classic looks enticing, but I'd rather remain in the bodybuilding division as a middle or light heavy. Well,
that's why they created Classic Bodybuilding, so the guys who do turn pro and don't want to get huge have a place to go, and I think that's a perfect settlement. I think it would be boring as hell and would take forever if they had a million different divisions in the pro ranks. When you get to be a pro, you got to compete with the other guys. They got 2 divisions already. You're either a 212 guy or you're an over 212 guy. If you don't fit into those divisions, then you go do Classic Physique. There's a place for everyone now. I've been saying it for years that they needed to have a Classic Physique, Classic Bodybuilding division. They got it now. No more complaining.
Let's go to RC Nick. Hey Dave, recently had a blood screening done and was told my LDL was 0. Given this is bad cholesterol, is this a good thing? I'm 12 weeks into a keto contest prep diet.
I would have to say that was lab error. I can't believe I've never seen anyone having a 0 LDL. It's impossible. Get retested. It's got to be a lab error.
Let's go to Dayan Iliev Doctora. Hey Dave, I'm currently taking 2 IUs of GH twice a day. Since I heard it lasts about 8 hours in the system, so I take 2 IUs when I wake up, then 8 hours later, another 2 IUs. Would it be better if I take 4 IUs at once in the morning, and why?
The truth is it probably doesn't matter, to be honest with you, when you take it. I mean, if you split it up or not. Unless if I'm going over 4 IUs, I'm going to have guys split it up, maybe 3 and 2 or 3 and 3. But you could take the whole 4 IUs in the morning. I don't like to make people insulin resistant all day. The more you take GH, the more insulin resistant you get because it's in your system more often. I don't necessarily know if that's good for blood sugar control. So I like to get that nice surge once a day, and I think that's good in the sense that you get nice growth response. You do get some fat burning, but you don't make yourself insulin resistant all day long, which puts a strain on your pancreas to produce more insulin. So that's why I prefer it once a day.
Let's go to Mika BB. Your opinion on bulk and cutting cycles for mass to increase carb sensitive.
Well, obviously, if you do diets that are very low in carbs, you do increase carbohydrate or insulin sensitivity. But it is good to shock your body. I think that's what the question is, to go off season, have high calorie, high carb intake, and then pre-contest do a different type of approach. I do like to change that up throughout the year because I think it does shock your body and prevents you from getting stale, without a doubt.
Let's go to, we've had similar questions, but I think he wants more of an explanation here. The Gaming Guru, my question is, how does Classic keep waist small?
Switch my camera off, Johnny.
And what really creates the
I gotta yell at this guy in the middle of a TV show.
How do Classics keep the waist small, and what really creates the difference between bodybuilding? Why is it not possible to be aesthetic as a heavyweight?
It's very possible to be aesthetic as a heavyweight. I've seen a lot of aesthetic bodybuilding. Look at Bob Harris, for instance. I mean, there's plenty of guys that are, but I think what happens is guys want to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And look, that's what bodybuilding's about. Look, talk to a classic physique guy, a smaller guy, a Darren Charles. He'll tell you, I don't want to ruin my aesthetics. Bullshit. Everyone wants to get bigger as a bodybuilder. Jose Raymond said it. I completely agree with what he said. Guys want to get massive. Some guys can't. They can't eat enough. They just don't grow. They don't train heavy enough. Everyone wants to get huge. And that's what, ultimately sometimes ruins people's physiques. They get too big. Ronnie Coleman got too big. Kai Green got too big. I probably got too big. But that just goes with the territory. We always want to change ourselves and improve. It's hard to just say, you know what? I got a good physique. I'll stick with what I got. We always want to make it better. And sometimes if too much is no good. It makes it worse.
Let's go to Jorge Silva. Dave, should I do cardio after strength, or should I do cardio on a different day of strength?
You could do cardio after you train. I mean, off season, you don't want to do too much cardio because it can cut into your muscle gains. But, pre-contest, I would always do cardio after I did my workout because, you're not really worried about growing. You're worried about just maintaining muscle mass. And as long as you're not doing high-intensity cardio, you shouldn't have any risk of losing muscle.
That is going to do it for this episode of Ask Dave. 30-minute question and answer with Dave Palumbo. It's going to be available for replay on rxmuscle.com as well as our YouTube channel. Thanks to our producer, Johnny Saz, doing an excellent job as always. We will see you next week on rxmuscle.com.